Welcome back, viewers, to Kirbyfreek33's Tips, Tricks, and Ticks to Dungeoneering. Now, this video is going to start off with a tick of mine, and it's going to be the biggest tick that I mention, and this involves bovine mastics. Now, there have been so many parties that I've joined where I have seen someone just randomly run into a room and kill the gallimastics that it's in there before, and even as I tell them to stop, they're just like, "Whoa, what did I do wrong? It's a monster here, I have to kill it." Yeah, well, guess what? Fuck you, you're wrong. Because this, and like, okay, bovine mastics are of extreme importance to rangers. Because if you want to make ranger armor in a complexity 6 dungeon, or complexity 4 up dungeon, which is where bovine mastics come in, you need to trap bovine mastics, not kill them. As you can read from this little article in the knowledge base right here, if you kill a bovine mastix, the most you'll get is one mastix hide of whatever that tier of bovine mastix was. For example, if it's a gallimastix, which is the highest that I can craft, you'll get a tier 7 gallimastix hide, which can be used to make tier 7 galley leather armor. Now, if you however, so killing it will at most get you one hide, which can only be used to make either gloves or boots, which are not that useful to a ranger. Comparatively, anyway. Now, if you decide to chop some branches off of a wall and craft them into a trap, then you can trap the mastix. It will chop the mastix's head off, killing it without mutilating its body like usual weapons do. And then, using a knife, you can skin the mastix to get up anywhere between 2 and 5 hides from it. If you're lucky and you get 5 hides, yes, that's a free leather body of whatever the tier of leather that you got from that mastix is. Now, you do not need to use the same tier of branches as tier of the mastix, but it is much more helpful to use branches that are at least the same tier as the mastix. If you use lower ones, there is a chance that the mastix will notice that it's a trap and not something they should stick their head into, and instead smash the trap to bits and you lose a trap. But also, if a trap catches a mastix, you'll lose the trap anyway. So, if you want to try to catch multiple mastixes, you're going to need to have multiple branches with you. But, yeah, so do me a favor, viewers. Don't kill mastixes, especially when you're in a dungeon with me, because I will call you out and probably just yell at you for the next 10 years or something. Not really, but just, yeah, don't kill mastix. Don't slaughter mastixes with your weapons. Trap them with traps made out of branches, and you'll benefit everyone in your party. Now, the next thing I've got is a little thing that for you to note, and I guess you could call it a trick, but not really. Now, this is about metal armor, specifically plate legs and plate skirts. Now, I just have Zephyrium up because Zephyrium is just the thing that I think is good for trying to make a quick point about. Unlike in the rest of RuneScape, plate legs have different bonuses to plate skirts. Now, the difference between bonuses may seem unbalanced, but I think I can see why they're made the way they were. Plate legs have higher bonuses in stab, slash, and range defense than plate skirts. However, they also have a really, really low crush defense. Now, plate skirts have lower stab, slash, and ranged, but have much higher crush defense than that of plate legs. However, their bonuses in terms of the stab, slash, and ranged are not as much do not create as much of a gap as the plate legs do with their crush defense. If you notice, the plate skirts defense is 98 for crush, while the plate legs is 43. And the plate legs stab, for example, is 91, while this plate skirt is 55. It's not as large of a gap, so if you feel like if you have a hunch that you're going to run into a lot of crushing enemies, you want to make a skirt. And a skirt's not too bad, but still, plate legs do work better for an all-around defense. And it actually kind of makes sense, because, I mean, you could really just stab under a skirt to get the person's ankles or something, which would make a whole lot of sense. And while crushing a skirt is, since it's a little hard to crush underhandedly, you could, kneel and have hit the skirt, and the skirt would absorb much better than the plate armor. But another thing you should notice is the fact that crush defenses are extremely important. Take a look at the Prometheum chain body's crush defense, which is 245, compared to the rest of its defense. It's in the hundreds, the low hundreds, except for the slash. And plate bodies, the crush defense is 122 while everything else is in the 200s. That is an extremely important thing to remember, because another trick this combines with is that monster combat levels are to be treated as if there were a player wearing like good material for their level. This is a really important thing to keep in mind. So if you see, for example, a Forgotten Warrior who's wearing plate legs and plate mail armor and a full helm and using a maul or something, you don't want to slash him or her, because he or she is going to have huge defense against that. But if you use crush attacks, you'll find that they will be a whole lot more effective, and you'll be able to hit with much more accuracy. And here the combat triangle is actually important as well, because I don't have the window up, I'll get it up, is that you can't hybrid very well in here. If you try to hybrid, you'll find that all of your bonuses will be decreased for, including melee combat styles, will be decreased from wearing, like, for example, leather armor or even mage ribs. So that's why it's even more important to try to use the combat triangle the way it was first, well, the way I believe it was first intended to anyway, to wear the same armor as your style. And my next trick to point out is that whenever you can, use longbows. I know short bows have had the biggest impact in terms of using bows in normal RuneScape, but Dungeoneering Demonheim is not at all like normal RuneScape. Take a look at, for example, the Grave Creeper shortbow, 57 range bonus. Grave Creeper longbow, 138. That is a huge difference that you always want to take advantage of. That's why I use a Grave Creeper longbow instead of Grave Creeper shortbow. Now, shortbows are really only useful, if you ask me, if you find them on the ground or something, or if you can, because if you look, a Corpstone short longbow is better than an Entgal or even Grave Creeper shortbow. So try to use a longbow when you can. The loss in speed that you have will be made up for in its newfound accuracy, and I think that the longbow sight was made kind of to reflect that, because the longbow sight makes longbows have ridiculously awesome accuracy, even though they still have a slightly slower speed. Now, I'm not sure if this is really, wow, just a random window that I didn't see. Now, that's basically all the tips, tricks, and ticks that I had in mind, but I'm going to go through the important things, basically the prestige system, again, for people who might have a hard time understanding it, and for my friends who, even though I wrote them practically an entire essay on the prestige system, they still didn't seem to understand it very well without me there. Basically, the prestige system, you want to keep track of you want to basically follow two rules. One, go through every single floor you possibly can once. If there is a single floor on your select floor window that does not have a check mark, raid that floor before you reset. And number two, you really want to sorry, I had a phone call that came in out of nowhere and it's kind of distracted me. You really want to reset once you have completed every floor once. Don't just repeat floors over and over again. You'll find that you'll lose a lot more experience. And once you reset, go through all the floors again and you'll get a whole lot more experience. And for getting more experience for dungeons, do the largest dungeon, do all bonus rooms, the highest difficulty, kill all monsters, and don't die. And don't use guide mode. So those are basically all the real tips, tricks, and ticks that I've really had. I know there weren't really a whole lot of them either way, but it's just a nice thing to have. Oh, actually, yeah, one more thing that I kind of forgot about. Whenever there are raw materials, whether it be essence or whether it be ores or whether it be both mastix hides or textiles that you can spin into cloth, don't just make them into random things just so you can get the experience from them right away. There might be someone else in your party who can really use them. Like, for example, I had a party where someone had mined 5 Catagon ores. Now, I can't make Catagon armor, but this person could. This person couldn't make it either, but there was another person in our party who could. However, this person who mined the Catagon ores, which is tier 8, I'll let you know, they decided to just make 5 pickaxes, just because that's the highest thing they could make. And I didn't know they did that, and I was asking for them to make me a nice Catagon plate legs or Catagon plate skirt or a Catagon full helm. And when I found out that they made 5 pickaxes, I was pissed off. I mean, what the hell is anyone going to have use for with 5 pickaxes? There will almost always be someone who can use the ores. Make sure that no one can have a use for the materials you want to use up, even with a potion, before you use them for pointless tasks, because you really don't want to waste things down here. Every resource is important, whether it be a fish or an ore or a hide or anything. But yeah, that's basically it from me. So don't waste resources. Take advantage of the prestige system, and go in a party, and you'll have a good amount of fun dungeoneering. Soloing is nice, but really it's just partying is more fun and gives you more experience. So yeah, that's it from me. If you guys have any other questions, I will answer them all in the comments. And thank you for listening to me talk for 20 minutes straight. And so just feel free to post comments about any questions, things you have about Dungeoneering, and I'll answer them to the best of my ability. Well, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next Let's Quest or review.